Ah, Gina. How are you holding up? I'm starting to feel quite warmly towards her frequent cold shoulders now. I'll be having PTSD flashbacks. No! Ginny! Are you alright? Why aren't you saying anything? What's the point, eh? Why go to all this trouble and fight so hard for the likes of me? What? Well, you saw it. That picture. What picture? Because plot? Yes, because plot. Ah, you mean this. The photograph taken by Hurley's red-handed recorder? Well, I didn't think it would have captured a scene like this, that's for sure. It's hopeless. Anyone who sees that's gonna think I did it, ain't they? Well, I won't pretend it wasn't a bit of a shock when the prosecution first presented it to the court. Surely you gotta have your doubts about me now. You can't still think I'm innocent. Of course I can. Press X to doubt. Ginny, why don't you talk to us? Tell us what really happened that night. Bruno's cleverly managed to piece together a lot of new information, but still, we'd really like to hear it from you. We're gonna get SpongeBob arrested. Alright then. It was after we had that dinner together at your place, right, Iris? Then we all had a chat up in your office, didn't we? Yes, I remember. After that, I just couldn't get to sleep. So I slipped out and went down the street. 2 to 1. To Winterbank's place. I had to know if Iris's story was there or not. The Hound of the Baskervilles. I don't know what it's about or nothing. But if you ask me, there's something in it that Sholmes don't like. Something what we don't want people reading. So that's why he lied to Iris about sticking it in the lug with Winterbank for safekeeping. At least, that's what I thought at the time. So you broke into Winterbank's. I just had to know if it was there or not. I mean, I had no idea all of that was gonna kick off, did I? I struck the lock and snuck inside. It was dark as you like in there. So I gave the oil lamp on the counter a bit of a wick. And that's when... What do you think you were doing? Ah! I nearly died, I did. And the next thing I knew... I had grabbed the gun off the counter and was waving it in the air like... I don't know what. You're the girl who was in here this afternoon. I didn't think pickpockets went in for armed robbery. The manuscript. Have you got it here? Did Sholmes leave a load of papers with you? A story? I beg your pardon. The Hound of the something or other. If it's here, I want to see it. I'm sorry, young lady. But I'd sooner die than relinquish an article belonging to one of my customers. I don't want it. What would I do with it anyway? I just want to see its ear, that's all. Only halfway, yeah. I guess that's technically true. Oh, you want to see it, do you? I want to know if Sholmes really pawned it here or not. Please, just let me see it and I'll go. Oh, very well then. But for pity's sake, stop waving my gun around, would you? So then the old cove unlocked the storeroom door, and we both went inside. And it was there, all right. The mantle script. Sholmes weren't lying after all. You did all that just to check for me, Ginny? Anyway, then there was a bit of a kick-up out in the main bit of shop. The Skulkin brothers arriving on the scene, yes? What was that noise? Someone's breaking in! Dear me. Is there some burglars convention here tonight that I don't know about? I think I forgot to shut the door behind me. Sorry. I'd better go and take care of it. Could I possibly have my gun back? Oh, well, I'll come with you and... No, don't be foolish, young girl. You must stay right here. Don't leave this room under any circumstances. And with that, he took the gun out of my hands and walked back out into the shop. I hung back in the storeroom, like he said, straining my ears in the dark to hear what was going on. It sounded like they got into a bit of a scrap. I started to think I should help see. So I was just about to go out the storeroom myself when... Bang, bang! Pull my devil trigger? I heard a couple of shots off. 2, I think. Almost at the same time. And then there he was. Right at me feet. Lying face down on the floor. I was right next to the storeroom door, so I slammed it and shut it. I slammed it shut and locked it as quick as you like. Because you thought whoever had shot Mr. Windibank might come for you? Yeah. So I went to grab the old cove's gun. I figured I'd put up a fight at least. But when I got a better look at him, I knew. Windibank was a goner. I felt funny in me head all of a sudden. Kind of dizzy. And after that, I don't remember nothing. That must be when you passed out, Gina. If I hadn't done what I'd done, the old cove might still be alive. Did you tell the police everything you just told us? Of course I did. But they didn't believe a word of it, did they? All they said was, if I kept telling lies, it'd make things even worse for me. It'll be alright, Ginny. Don't worry. Just stay strong a little longer. Bruno's about to put the real culprit culprit through the mail. That cove what was there in the afternoon. That Eggert Benedict. I still remember how he looked at me like I was nothing. He was there that night. We don't know his real name yet, but I'm convinced that he's involved somehow. Like I was nothing. Anyway, thank you for telling us what happened, Gina. I appreciate your honesty. You what? You can leave it all in Runo's capable hands now, Ginny. Mr. Naraoto. Yes? How come you trust me? I don't get it. I mean, have you forgotten what happened here before? Come on. It was only 2 months ago. Me and McGilded? Mr. Not a hobo. But I am a hobo. We told you a whole pack of lies. And you got the bog trotter off with him, even though he was a killer. No, I could never forget that. Oh. I did what I thought was best at the time. But the pain of that error of judgment doesn't get any easier to bear. Still, don't forget that I also made you a promise. I told you that I'd be on your side to the bitter end, no matter what. But what if I'm lying? You could be working to get another killer off the hook for all you know. I was once in your position, Gina. I was the accused in a trial. Ah yes, flashback to episode 1. You were? Before I left Japan, I was accused of murder. And strange as it might sound, the circumstances of the crime were pretty damning. I was sure that no one would believe it wasn't me who'd done it. Oh, Runo. But there was one person who stood up for me, who believed in me, and was prepared to defend me. My best friend. Kazuma! Rinosuke, no one believes in you more than I do. Leave this to me. All you need to do is put your faith in me, and I'll do the rest. I cry. Long time. I was so happy, I cried. But even then, somewhere inside me, I couldn't help thinking, surely he doesn't really believe in me. Not completely. But don't look at me that way, Kazuma! But I was wrong. Why are you looking at me that way? As soon as my trial began, it was obvious. That he had an absolute, unwavering belief in me. And in turn, I developed an absolute, unwavering belief in him. Since then, I came to realize, if you want someone to believe in you, you have to believe in the other person first. What are you saying? I promise you, Gina, that no matter what happens, I'll keep believing in you. So you don't need to worry. I won't let you down. Believe in the you that believes in me! Even though I'm a diver and a no-good liar, you're not like McGilded. I know that. Eh? That's right! You're our friend, Ginny. Iris. We know you better than you think. And we've come to the conclusion that you're someone we can trust. Yes. That's really all we need to know. Exactly. Mr. Naruto? Defendant Gina Lestrade and her legal representative. Court proceedings are about to resume. Please head into the courtroom immediately. Yes, of course. Thank you. I'd been both a defendant and a defending lawyer in my time. So I knew just how hard it was to put all your faith in another. And I also knew just how hard it was to bear the burden of another, putting all their faith in you. This is it, at last. The final chapter. The final battle. Wish me luck, Susato! And I hope you're watching over me too, partner. Alright, we're in the courtroom now. I hereby call this court to order as we resume the trial of Miss Gina Lestrade. Lord Von Zeeks, have you successfully subpoenaed the witness? The subpoena was delivered to the communication station where the man works immediately, my lord. However, the heavy rain has delayed the arrival of his carriage, it would seem. I see. Then let us turn our attention to Inspector Gregson's precise of the case heard by the court this morning. The glaring omission of the third bullet in your report is a serious blunder, Inspector. Yes, I can only apologize, my lord. And although the defense's chemical analysis of the blood at the scene makes for a compelling argument, I cannot permit such untried methods to be used as evidence in my courtroom. Making you want to play the series? Heck yeah. But it's taken me so long. It's so long. It's a big mistake to cross Hurley and me. A very big mistake. My lord, the subpoenaed witness has just arrived in the building. One game at a time. I know! I know! One game at a time. Take it slow. Thank you, officer. I make sure to do the wrong thing over. Yes, that's exactly what I like to do. I like to do the wrong thing. Every time, all the time. Show him to the stand without delay. Mr. Eggert Benedict. Scramble me some eggs. I didn't expect to be crossing paths with him again so soon. Trial and error, yeah. And certainly not like this. Thank you for complying with the court subpoena at such short notice, sir. But of course, my lord, as an upstanding member of the London Society, it is my pleasure to oblige. Now, kindly state your name and occupation for the record. Ashley Graydon, Communications Officer. Mr. Graydon and I both work at London Central Communications Station. Now, perhaps somebody would kindly explain what all this is about. You were apprised of the situation by the court officer on your way here, I presume. Yes, I was. Something to do with a murder that took place at a pawnbroker's on Baker Street. And some nonsense about me having been there on the night in question. That is the accusation, indeed. This really is beyond a joke, you know. Very well. Without further delay, the court will hear your testimony now, Mr. Graydon. You will respond to the accusation made against you, under oath. Give him the old razzle-dazzle. Gladly, my lord, gladly. Love his top hat. Yeah, you should get one too. All right, the accusation. The old razzle-dazzle. Should draw a dude with a top hat. Naturally, I have occasion to make use of pawnbroking services from time to time. But are you seriously suggesting I colluded with these thugs to break into the place on the night of the murder? I have no intention of admitting to such an outrageous accusation. Even if certain parties were present, claim that my blood was found at the scene. Some Scaramouche detective's homebrewed tincture can hardly be taken as serious evidence. Those are some fancy words there. So you deny the accusation completely, do you? I must say, I am dismayed. For the highest court in the land to be swayed by this self-professed detective's toy. It was the will of the jury, and our great British justice system demands that the jury's will is upheld. Scaramouche, will you do the fandango? Yes, I will. Or he will. Then it would seem we have the misfortune of a most inept assembly of jurors today. By golly! How long am I expected to be detained here? If following the defense's cross-examination, your involvement in this matter has not been established, you will be free to leave immediately. What? Good. Then I shall be away in time for afternoon tea. Some small consolation at least. Let us not hold up Mr. Graydon any longer than necessary. Counsel, proceed with the cross-examination. So, we meet again, Mr. Eggert Benedict. Or is it Mr. Graydon? My apologies. You are? Ryunosuke Naruhodo, defense lawyer. We have met. If you say so. Ashley Graydon. Enchanté. So. Ah! Thanks for the hat, I guess. I trust we can conclude this quickly. But I'm not holding your fleshy hat while we do. Okay, here we go. He uses pawnbroking. Yes, I suggest you were there. Tell me more. Tell me more. Tell me more. Blood was found at the scene of the crime. There's no question of that. Mr. Sholmes' chemical analysis has positively identified the substance as such. But I am not the only human to have blood running through my veins, am I? No, Grease. Aww. How can you be sure that the blood is mine? It could equally be the blood of one of these two miscreants. Every individual's blood has a slightly different composition, it seems. Mr. Sholmes' chemical is able to differentiate... Don't! Why not? Please tell me more! Spare me the science lesson. Who is this Sholmes character, anyway? Oh, I assumed all Londoners would know the name. He's a great... Well, a renowned detective. So even you are unable to bring yourself to say great detective? A great detective, you say?
Oh, me.
What? Now we're in the realm of fairy tales, are we? Hello? Yes? What do you want? What do you want, sir? Excuse me? Do you have something to say about that, Mr. Skulkin? Eh? What? Me? No. The Mr. Skulkin next to you. Right, I've added up to here with this. How many times have I got to tell you? Yes, I know. You're not Big Bruv Sulky. Mr. Nash Skulkin. With the big chin. What? Is it not the case that when Mr. Graydon just spoke, a thought went through your mind? Would you care to share that thought with the court? Eh? Any thoughts? I don't have none of them. It must have been him. You what? Mr. Nash Skulkin, answer the question, please. What went through your mind when Mr. Graydon just spoke? Nuffin, honest gov, nuffin. I was just thinking. If he waves his arm around like that much more, it'll open up the wound again, that's all. What wound? Where he took the bullet, of course. It was only 2 days ago. It ain't been sealed up yet. So I was, well, you know. I was worrying for him and... Oh! Hell's bells. Mr. Graydon, did you hear that? What? Your comrade is worried about you, it seems. On account of your injured arm. My lord. Yes, Mr. Graydon? I have no idea what these two wretches are talking about. Certainly I shouldn't be expected to answer anything in relation to their mindless insinuations. We know that someone other than the victim was hit by a bullet at the scene of the crime 2 nights ago. And from the height of the bullet hole in the wall, that person was likely hit in the upper arm or thereabouts. Perhaps you'd allow a court official to examine your arm, sir. The left arm that you're currently clasping with your right hand as if in pain. No, I refuse. You have shown no evidence whatsoever that links me to these common thieves. Accordingly, I am not obliged to permit such invasion of my privacy. As I've already said, I'm completely uninvolved in all of this. I've never had anything to do with the pawnbrokery where this fellow was killed whatsoever. I take offense at the insinuation that I was in any way involved. You claim to have had nothing whatsoever to do with Mr. Winterbank's pawnbrokery? My lord, the defense would like that last statement to be added to Mr. Graydon's formal testimony. Very well, counsel. Continue with your testimony, Mr. Graydon.
Hold it!
Hold it right there. Never had anything to do with it? You forget that I was there, Mr. Graydon, on the very afternoon of the incident. Obviously, I am not a complete stranger to the pawnbrokers. I am currently on the lookout for an armchair to furnish my study.
Objection!
I object, your armchair. No, you were there to redeem an article. I have no idea what you're talking about. What are you talking about?
Excuse me!
Excuse me? Do you have something to add, Inspector? Come again, Sunshine? Yeah, you sit there and eat your taters. All menacing-like. You were there too, in fact, weren't you, Inspector? That afternoon? Well, yes, I do remember meeting yourself and the pawnbrokers that afternoon. Potatoes, yes! You, your young Japanese assistant, and the accused were all present, as I recall. And at that time, this witness, Mr. Graydon, was trying to acquire a particular article. Well now. I'm afraid I don't remember too clearly. What? But you must. I'm not going to lie and pretend I remember something that I don't. What's going on here? Gracie showed us a picture before, didn't he? You know, from the cameras that Hurley installed in Windibanks? Yes, of course. Indeed. And the gentleman pictured bears a striking resemblance to the witness, I must say. Exactly, which proves that Mr. Graydon was in the shop on the afternoon in question. Actually, it was morning, given from the timestamp. At no point have I denied that fact. I merely entered the shop to peruse the articles on sale and have a word with the broker. Nothing more. Sure. This makes no sense. I understand why Mr. Graydon might be trying to cover his tracks. But why would Gregson be trying to avoid giving testimony about what happened? That's all he's going to say on the matter, is it? What do you think, Bruno? I think he has no intention of telling us anything. He's well aware that the less he says, the less chance he has of giving himself away. The complete opposite of Hurley, then. He seems to think that the more he says, the better. Well, at least I managed to prise a little more information from these witnesses' lips. All thanks to the Skulkin brothers. Yes, they were the key to it after all. So he says he had nothing to do with Windibanks. Well, we know that's not true. Perhaps now would be a good time to have a proper look through the court record. Good idea. You never know what tiny scrap of information could become a valuable weapon. Where is it? Oh, wait. There it is.
Objection!
I object. I've got this. Have you ever seen this disc before, Mr. Graydon? Why? Is it supposed to mean something? This disc was, until the day of his murder, in pawn in Mr. Windibank's shop. It was redeemed by the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade, that afternoon, however. You object my objection? How dare you? Somebody mysteriously appeared to try to take it from her. And that somebody was you, of course. Wasn't it, Mr. Graydon? As I have reiterated numerous times now, you are mistaken. That was not me. I've never seen that disc before in my life. It may have escaped your notice, but there is a small smear of blood on the disc. Ah, yes. Resulting from an abrasion of the thumb, perhaps. That's right. The surface of the disc is covered in hundreds of tiny metal bumps. In the skirmish to acquire the disc, the thumb of the person who tried to take it suffered minor lacerations. So, while the disc bears the remnants of that skirmish in the form of the smear of blood, the thumb of the person in question must bear the remnants also, in the form of a scratch. Good gracious, indeed it must. Mr. Graydon. You refused to allow a court officer to examine your arm before. Are you now going to refuse to allow us to examine your thumb? because I have no doubt that it bears a small scratch consistent with the smear of blood on this disc. Well, well. It would seem I underestimated you. What? What is the meaning of this? So, you admit it now. You admit you have a scratch on your thumb from when you attempted to take the disc from the defendant. Order! Order! Well, Mr. Graydon? It would appear there has been something of a misunderstanding here. You don't even have thumbs. I did not attempt to take the disc, as you put it. No, quite the reverse. What are you trying to say? That he's trying to give the old razzle-dazzle again. It's really quite simple, you see. The disc was mine from the outset. Is there some crime in taking an item that you own out of pawn? What? It would seem, Mr. Graydon, that in this piece of evidence, my learned friend has established a link between yourself and the incident. Accordingly, you will tell the court everything you know about this disc now. As you wish. Though I'm quite sure it has nothing whatsoever to do with the pawnbroker's murder. There's a note on the disc saying, "For McGilded," but the item belongs to me. The redemption ticket was stolen from me by the accused, that filthy gutterling, on the day in question. I proceeded at once to the shop in order to explain my situation and redeem my article. In the end, of course, the disc was taken by the police. In other words, I had absolutely no reason to break into the shop later that same night. Did I hear you correctly, sir? McGilded, you say? The famous London philanthropist? He died in a fire. Who perished in this very courtroom 2 months ago, after being acquitted of a distinctly messy murder. Yes, my lord. The one and the same. Good lord, Mr. Graydon. Are you saying that Mr. McGilded and yourself were acquainted? Yes, that's correct. Order! Well, I certainly didn't expect to hear that name uttered here in my courtroom again. According to what Gina told us. This disc was placed in pawn on that fateful night 2 months ago. McGilded himself gave instructions to deposit it at Windibanks. It's funny that Mr. Graydon here is claiming the disc belongs to him then, isn't it? In all likelihood, he's lying. So, he appeared that afternoon at Windibanks in order to get his hands on McGilded's disc for some reason. Counsel, you will commence your cross-examination, please.
Hold it!
Hold it right there, sir. Yes, it was taken by Inspector Gregson here, wasn't it? That's right. This was the very man.
Is that right?
Apparently the police are collecting anything that has a connection to Mr. McGilded as evidence.
Excuse me.
Is there something wrong, Inspector? What do you mean? That last remark Mr. Graydon made in his testimony seemed to trouble you in some way. No, it didn't. It's nothing. Leave it alone. Let me ask you this, Inspector. Why is Scotland Yard gathering Mr. McGilden's possessions? I can't tell you something like that, Sunshine. What is it, Inspector? Investigative secrets? Yes, exactly. You should know all about that. Magnus McGilded, who died so unexpectedly after his trial 2 months ago. A man renowned throughout the capital for his great contributions to public life. Yet he had a dark side, too. Where are you going with this, Von Zieks? I suppose the police are dealing with the aftermath of his nefarious activities, are they? That's enough. Guppers like me have duties to carry out that we're not at liberty to talk about. That's all you need to know. Duties conferred by Lord Strongheart, I presume. The Lord Chief Justice appears to have great faith in you, Inspector. Yeah, put those taters back in your pocket. Duties. The bottom line is, if you want to get more out of me, you're gonna need Lord Strongheart's paw print first. Wow, I didn't take Strongheart to be a furry. What's all this about? It's like there's something going on between Gregson and Lord Von Zieks here. Well, it would appear that the Inspector has revealed all he is at liberty to reveal. Mr. Graydon, let us return to your testimony. Gladly, my lord.
Objection!
I object. Yeah, I will. This disc was deposited at Windibanks on Magnus McGilded instructions. You knew that, and you went there with the intention of obtaining it for yourself.
Objection!
Excuse me? Conjecture again, and in any case, the disc was taken into custody by the police that afternoon. The witness had no reason to visit the pawnbrokery again that night.
Objection!
We're wildly slapping objections, I guess. Sorry, my friend, but that's not true. What? The third disc of Final Fantasy VII? Mr. McGilded had another article in pawn at Windibanks. As the second pawnbroker's ticket proves. We got him now, boys! There were 2 articles belonging to Mr. McGilded in Windibanks' pawnbrokery. And the reason you broke into the shop that night was to recover the second one. Together with your 2 accomplices. Wow. I can words. The Skulkin brothers. This is the second ticket, is it? What had the man deposited? The article description reads, 1 small box. A rather vague description, it seems to me. Are you suggesting that I broke into the pawnbrokery with these clowns in order to steal some trinket box? I believe there are adequate grounds to suspect that you did. This is absurd. Why on earth would I do such a thing? Once the article had been forfeited, I could simply walk into the shop and purchase it. There would be absolutely no need for me to resort to theft. It's all complicated with these words. That's a good point. Indeed. The witness makes a solid argument. So, that means for some reason, this Graydon fellow needed the small box that very night, does it?
Objection!
Why is he objecting her? It's time to put an end to this nonsense, my lord. Could you be a little less cryptic, Lord Von Zeeks? I do hate to ruin my learned friend's argument, but the truth is quite incontrovertible. On the night in question, no small box was taken from Windibank's pawnbrokery. And rest assured, the prosecution can prove it. What? Good gracious! He looks like his toupee is gonna fly off. Inspector, show the photographic prints to the court, if you please. Yes, sir. What prints? These prints were taken from one of the detective's security cameras. Hurley's red-handed recorders again? As previously explained, using this plan of the shop layout. The victim's establishment was furnished with automatic cameras in 2 locations. One was set to capture the counter where Mr. Windibank received his customers. And the other was set to capture the shelves on which articles were placed for sale once forfeited. According to the information on this ticket, the Gilded's small box had been forfeited already. 2 days before the incident, at 9 p.m. on April 13th, to be precise. Which means it would have been on the shelves of forfeited items in the shop front. Now, what I have here is a print taken by one of the cameras about 2 hours before the incident. That's at 11 p.m. on April 15th. The victim certainly had a very full shop, it would appear. And then here we have another print. This one was taken about 2 hours after the incident. I see. So we have 2 pictures to compare. Though I must say that placing them side by side leaves me cold. Dear me, that's starting to make my head ache. Obviously, at Scotland Yard, we considered theft as one possible motive in this case. We explored the possibility that something had been taken in addition to the victim's life. So your men have already compared these 2 prints thoroughly, Inspector? Yes, sir. We counted every single item in each of these 2 photographic prints. And the Yard's conclusion is that exactly the same number are present in both. In other words, nothing was taken from the pawnbrokery on the night in question. And my learned friend's assertion is nothing more than a hopeful fantasy. I don't believe it. If I could have just shown that he'd stolen McGilden's pawns box. What is he doing? I might have been able to break him down at last. You know what, Bruno? I've been thinking. I wonder if these two photographs really are exactly the same. Styling on them fools. What? So, counsel, in light of the evidence put forward by the prosecution, what is your position? It seems that, in fact, on the night in question, nothing was stolen from the victim's establishment. Do you accept the prosecution's assertion? I don't know. Could there be some hidden discrepancy in these two photographic prints? I'm gonna use a piece of evidence. Before I give my answer, my lord, I'd like to try something if I may. Try something? What do you mean, counsel? I'll need to use a certain piece of evidence from the court record to identify the discrepancy. I'm not entirely sure I follow. Which piece of evidence do you intend to use to help you?
Take that!
We're gonna use this. I'd like to use this device, my lord. To view the two prints stereoscopically. Ooh! Yes, you've caught the bug at last. You can't resist it, can you? You've got the cross-eye compulsion. Juror number 3, what a surprise. Come on, Bruno. Let's put the pictures in place and see what this wonderful contraption shows us. There we go. Now look through the eyepiece. Yo, what? I wasn't sure at first, but there is a clear discrepancy between these two prints. You must identify the location in question for the court, counsel. Yes.
Take that!
Take that! The thingy that's clearly highlighted in the photo. Granted, these two prints are almost identical. However, there is one minor discrepancy between them. What? Squish your potatoes. When you view the two pictures stereoscopically, there it is. A single area stands out as being different, the location of this small box. He looks so funny with that thing right up to his face. Let me... wait. Unbelievable! Inconceivable! By Jove, you're right. How extraordinary. What this tells us is very simple. Mr. McGilded's small box was indeed not stolen from Windibanks on the night in question. However, there can be no doubt that somebody picked up this particular box and then returned it to its place on the shelves. Are you suggesting that the small box originally deposited by Mr. McGilded is in fact... Yes, the very same small box I just identified in those photographic prints.
Objection!
Mindless guesswork. What if it was? Oh no, he's on to me! So, a box was moved on the shelf. Nothing was stolen. Which means quite simply that nothing has changed. That may be true, but... Alright. McGilded's box wasn't stolen then. But doesn't the fact that it was moved like that change things? No, you're right. It changes nothing. Is that a smile on Mr. Graydon's lips? Wait a minute. What am I saying? Of course it changes things. Or so I thought at first. But actually, I'd say it changes everything. Well... It's changed your mind, certainly. And that capricious behavior earns you a... What? No! Now you're just taking points away. That's not fair. I really should have thought that through better. But counsel, if nothing was stolen and all that happened was that this box was moved slightly, how can that possibly alter the state of affairs here in the courtroom now? The crucial point is the fact that what was moved was a small box. In other words, we have to consider what might have been inside that box. What are you suggesting? I'm suggesting that we need to examine that box as soon as possible. A vital piece of evidence is sitting on the shelves at Windibanks as we speak.
Objection!
That won't be necessary. Some little box belonging to a man who died 2 months ago can't possibly be relevant to this trial. The court does not uphold your objection, Lord Von Zieks. Bailiff, arrange for an officer to go to Baker Street at once. Obtain the small box in question and bring it back here for further examination. Oh boy. They're really putting the heat on me now. No! Why he look at me like that? We should have a report within half an hour. I think perhaps we should recess for a short while until the evidence is brought forth. To be hoodwinked by such a farce. Disappointing. I beg your pardon, Lord Von Zieks. This is nothing but a smokescreen. A specialty, it would seem. What are you trying to say? My learned friend has persisted with the same line of reasoning from the very beginning. That this witness's intent was to steal an article belonging to Mr. McGilded from the pawnbrokery. Yet common sense tells us that none of the articles have value enough to be worth stealing in the first place. Exactly. It would be beyond absurd to break into a place for the purpose of stealing such commonplace property. Yeah, go drink your juice. If your lordship recalls, Mr. McGilded perished 2 months ago, immediately after the conclusion of his trial. A trial in which he was found not guilty. A trial in which it was established he was the upstanding member of society his reputation implied, in fact. So I propose a toast to my learned friend and his most insightful defense. I think it's a little early for that, isn't it? The articles this upstanding member of society pawned were entirely ordinary. A black overcoat that just happened to have a music box disc in one of its pockets. And a small box. I assure you I wouldn't accept if the man tried to make a gift of such things to me. Prosecution's argument is undeniably compelling. It is incumbent on the defense now to bolster its argument. Stop! Do you know how many bottles you've already gone through? To explain what possible significance these commonplace articles pawned by this fine citizen could have. 12! Well, counsel, is your argument in fact demonstrable? Are you able to show proof that the disc or the box are in any tangible way related to this case? Well, what's the matter, Runo? Yeah, we make up words here. We know that they're related, don't we? They're both vital pieces of evidence. Yes, of course. You and I both know that. We know McGilded's true character, and we know the disc is significant, even if we don't know why. But if we explain all that to the court at this point, we'll have to acknowledge that McGilded's acquittal 2 months ago was a mistake. That the defense's argument was flawed, based on false information. Oh no. And that would mean admitting that Gina committed perjury. But Ginny... Could it be that Von Zieks knows? Is that why he's doing this now? Because he anticipated everything? But maybe... this could be a great opportunity for us. I'm sorry, what do you mean, Iris? Well, what is it that you always say, Bruno? Sooner or later, the truth comes out. Every time. Alright. The exact significance of the things that McGilded deposited with Mr. Windibank is something that only Gina can explain to the court. But if I put her on the stand to testify about that, it could critically damage our chances of winning this case. Just take a deep breath. Alright. My lord, the defense would like to make a proposal. Oh? What proposal, counsel? While the court awaits the arrival of Mr. McGilded's small box, I would like to call the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade, to the witness stand. The defendant? To what end? It's to do with the various articles deposited at Windibanks by Mr. McGilded, my lord. Miss Lestrade has information relating to them. I believe it would be beneficial for the court to hear what she has to say. It will prove the significance of the articles in question once and for all. Well, well. Things are becoming interesting. I presume you've considered the implications of the testimony you're proposing. In particular, the impact it will have on the accused's standing, and indeed your own. It will be significant. I have. Lord von Zeeks, would you care to explain that last remark? The prosecution accepts the defense's proposal. I move to interrupt the cross-examination of the current witness and hear from the accused herself. Very well, if you have no objection. So, the court will now hear the testimony of the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade. You witnesses currently in the stand may step down until further notice. Then I shall bid you good day. Wait. You, sir, shall remain in the stand while Miss Lestrade testifies. As you wish. All right then, Gina. It's time. I know this will be hard, but please, put your faith in me here. Good luck, Bruno. The articles that Mr. McGilded had deposited in Windibank's pawnbrokery are intimately related with the omnibus case, the trial of which was heard in this courtroom 2 months ago. Yes, and I remember this young lady being brought before me in that trial as well. That's right, my lord. Her testimony helped to establish the innocence of the defendant, Mr. McGilded. The omnibus case was intriguing, to say the least. And now, here we are all again. Same players in that trial, facing each other once more. A twist of fate, perhaps, my friend. More like Mr. McGilded. That's a good one. Allow me to recap the events of 2 months ago. An old brickmaker was stabbed to death in an omnibus, running along London's winter streets. Apart from the victim, there was only one other person in the carriage, Mr. McGilded. Naturally, he was the prime suspect for murder. But as the trial progressed, another possibility emerged. That the murder, in fact, took place above the defendant's head on the roof deck. With the body then being dropped through the skylight into the carriage below. It was Miss Lestrade whose testimony brought that possibility to light. At the time of the incident, Miss Lestrade was concealed under a seat in the carriage, hoping to pick the pockets of unsuspecting passengers. Then, immediately after the trial, having been acquitted of the murder, Mr. McGilded died in this very courtroom in the most extraordinary of circumstances. A mystery that remains unsolved even now, 2 months on. As indeed does the omnibus murder itself. Be that as it may. Wow. I can words. As the night goes on, my words get so much more harder to pronounce. I recall neither the disc nor the small box being mentioned in the course of those proceedings. Miss Lestrade. Hello, hello. Welcome to the stream. I hope you're having a wonderful evening. Feel free to get comfy and cozy. We're just finishing episode 5 of the Ace Attorney Chronicles. So hopefully we're going to be finishing it off tonight. Would you tell the court now, please? What really happened in the omnibus 2 months ago, I mean? I already said all of what I know. And what about everything you told us yesterday from inside your prison cell? Please, Miss Lestrade. This is extremely important. But... Remember, little girl. If it transpires that you willfully withheld information in the trial 2 months ago, the Home Office will seek to prosecute you for perjury. And naturally, you will lose all credibility as a witness. Although, let's face facts. You have little credibility to lose. Ginny, don't listen to him. Please, you have to trust Runo now. Iris? We're on your side. Alright then. I'll talk. It's the right choice, Gina. Well then. It would seem that my learned friend is hell-bent on bringing the entire courtroom down about his ears. So be it. I must confess that I'm struggling to understand what on earth is happening here. However, it would appear that Mr. McGilded's pawned articles and that extraordinary case of the omnibus harbor secrets of which we have been hitherto unaware. So, Miss Lestrade, you will now give your testimony before the court about the events of 2 months ago. You will reveal the truth, a commodity sorely lacking in your original statements. This is it then. Everything's going to come out. Like Von Zeke said, this could bring the whole courtroom down by my ears. But as a lawyer, I'm prepared to take that risk. Okay. Truth is that Brickmaker Cove was in the cabin of the omnibus the whole time. When the Irishman dragged me out from under the seat, I saw that disc on the floor. All of a sudden, I heard a scream from over me head, and that pair on the roof deck went off to call the slops. That's when McGilded slipped the driver something to do a run to the pawn shop roundabout. He threatened me not to snitch, not to say nothing to no one about what I'd seen or heard. Good grief, this is outrageous. What you've just told the court bears almost no resemblance to your testimony 2 months ago. As you say, my lord. Then there's every chance I may have adjudicated an error in McGilded's trial. It sounds very much to me as if the man deliberately deceived this court in an effort to cover up the most wicked of schemes. Without doubt, your lordship is correct. A great injustice was done in this courtroom 2 months ago. The actions of the accused in that trial, of this witness, and of my learned friend are entirely inexcusable. You're wrong, the lot of ya. Mr. Naruto, the lawyer there, he didn't know nothing about it. Are we really expected to believe that? He really stitched everyone up, didn't he? What an operation to get the man off scot-free. Unforgivable, stop. The lies have to stop, stop. Yes, the defense made a terrible error of judgment. I intend to take full responsibility and suffer whatever consequences are deemed appropriate. However, because that's how we are. We're idiots in the courtroom. It's imperative that the court allows the witness to elaborate on her testimony. Because the true significance of McGilded's Pond articles must be brought to light. Very well, my learned student friend. Given the depths of calamity you have just plunged yourself into, this may well be worth hearing. Words fail me. This situation is utterly deplorable. Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, my lord. I will decide upon your fate following the conclusion of this trial. Oh, no. I want to finish this. I think we're almost done anyways. Of course, my lord. Blimey, Mr. Naruhodo. Now, counsel, proceed with the cross-examination. Or at least, we'll finish this part. At least, we'll finish to the end of this part then. Emotional damage on that point.
Hold it!
And you were hiding in the cabin at the time as well, weren't you, Miss Lestrade? If I remember rightly, in the storage compartment underneath one of the seats? Yeah, that's right. It's pitch black under there, so you can't see nothing at all. Now, in your testimony 2 months ago, I feel certain that you claimed Mr. McGilded was the sole passenger, did you not? False testimony, my lord. That's what he told me I had to say. But it's important that you tell us the truth now. Where are Mr. McGilded and the victim acquaintances? I don't know. But I did hear him talking a lot. What were they talking about? Well, I couldn't hear too well. But if I had to say, I think it was about money or something. They kept talking about buying and not buying. Perhaps business dealings of some kind. Well, anyway, they got louder and louder and started to sound like a proper fight. I was pretty scared by then. I hardly dared to breathe. And then all of a sudden, I heard a noise like someone keeling over on the floor. It was bloomin' loud and all. And I believe you let out an involuntary scream. Yeah. That's what gave me away.
Hold it!
Was the disc you saw this disc? Yeah, I reckon it probably was. It was right next to the cove lying on the floor. Could this disc have belonged to the victim, perhaps? I don't know. But McGill picked it up pretty smartish. And then he sat the cove with the knife in his belly up on the seat. What did he say to you at that time?
Excuse me.
What are you guys doing? Is there something you'd like to share with the court, Inspector Gregson and Mr. Graydon? Inspector! Mr. Graydon! Ah! Blimey, you trying to give me a heart attack? You have been whispering to each other for quite some time now. Tell us, what is the discussion about? Discussion? With this fella? Pull the other one, Sunshine. You think I've got anything to talk with a shady gent like this? And I have nothing to say to this uncouth detective after he deprived me of that disc that was rightfully mine. But they've clearly been talking the entire time I've been cross-examining Gina. It's as if they've been negotiating. You will kindly refrain from talking amongst yourselves while the witness is giving testimony. Yes, sorry, my lord. What were those two talking about? Miss Lestrade, continue with your testimony, please.
Hold it!
There were two gentlemen occupying the seats on the roof deck, I believe. That's right. They must have looked down through the skylight and noticed the cove with the knife in his guts. When they screamed, the driver pulled up the horses and McGilded got me out of sight. Out of sight? Where? Back under the seat where I started off. Once the carriage came to an halt, the two coves from the roof ran to fetch the slops. If they immediately left to fetch the police, it would appear they were entirely unrelated to the incident. So that left McGilded and the driver and you still at the scene. Yeah. Only the driver didn't know I was there because I was under the seat. I heard the cabin door open and a voice from outside. The driver, yes. He also testified in the trial, I believe. A fellow who went by the name of Beppo, if memory serves. What did McGilded and the driver say to each other? I don't know what happened and stuff like that, mainly.
Hold it!
That pawn shop obviously being Windibanks on Baker Street. Just a moment, Counsel. Do you mean to tell me that the driver gave false testimony in that trial as well? Perhaps the excursion to the pawnbrokery slipped his mind when he was in the stand. Indeed, Lord Von Zeeks. The pawn shop. McGilded took off his coat and gave it to the driver. He folded it up all careful-like before handing it over. When I saw him do that, I remember thinking, that coat and what's in it's gotta be worth a few bob. Yes, Gina was sure the disc must be worth more than Mr. Windibank was suggesting, wasn't she? I remember her quibbing with him over the price that afternoon at the pawnbrokery. The driver looked pretty happy when Mr. McGilded flashed some brass in his face. He went running off at a lick. Then the bog trotter called to me and told me to come out from the drag's cabin.
Hold it!
They threatened you how exactly? Told me I'd only be able to scarp her if I did exactly what he said. Which included giving false testimony in court 2 months ago. Yeah, that's it. And there was one other thing he said. Which was... he told me I'd have to hang on to the ticket from the pawn shop and make sure not to lose it. The ticket? Well, I never! Said that if he didn't show up to get the ticket off me before 2 months passed, I had to go to the pawn shop and pay the money to keep it in lug to stop it from being forfeited. He left me with some brass to pay for it. But really, why on earth would Mr. McGilded have done such a thing? Depositing his overcoat with a pawnbroker before the arrival of the police. It makes no sense at all. There would seem to be only one logical explanation, my lord. What McGilded had the driver deposit at Windibanks was something he didn't want the police to see. Something very important. That he needed to hide at all costs. Anyway, after that, he let me go. So I legged it before the coppers showed up. Well done, Gina. It can't have been easy to tell the truth like that. Ginny's really put her faith in you, Runo. Yes, and to thank her, she'll have to face a charge of perjury once this trial's over. So I need to use the time we have now to get as much information out of her as possible. It's time to really go for it. Press her on every statement.
Hold it!
Okay. Are we just gonna have to go through this again?
Hold it!
Okay, well it seems like she's just saying everything the same. What? That's new. I think. was dead scared the lady was looking at me, though. Wait, so she's saying that she was scared she was gonna get shivved too? Then he started asking me a load of questions. Uh-oh. Like what my name was and where I lived and that. He asked me about being a diver too. But after a while, what had happened in the carriage was noticed. Yeah, that's right. First there was a kind of rapping noise. I think something changed, but I don't know. Thank you, Miss Lestrade. Thank you, Counsel. I've heard enough. Oh, maybe we did get to a point where it actually moves forward. I believe we now have a reasonable understanding of what actually transpired on the omnibus. It would appear on that night 2 months ago, a negotiation was taking place on the omnibus. A negotiation concerning this disc. However, matters did not run smoothly. When the parties involved began to quarrel over price, McGilded took what he wanted by force, at the expense of the other man's life. Which proves my point. The disc is clearly extremely valuable in some way. Although I don't understand why as yet. And 2 days ago, precisely 2 months after the omnibus accident, McGilded's coat and its contents were due to be forfeited. I didn't know what I should do with the ticket. I mean, the cove died right after his trial. I knew that. So you decided you would try to claim the articles as your own? Well, why not, eh? They were only going to be forfeited. Why shouldn't I have got them? Anyway, you can't blame me for thinking about it. Thinking ain't no crime. Miss Lestrade, it would appear Mr. McGilded was prepared to kill in order to take possession of this disc. Do you know why that would be? I'm sorry, I can't help it! I ain't got a clue. But I reckon it must be worth a fair bit of brass. He was probably gonna sell it. And you can't blame me for thinking that. My lord! The evidence your lordship requested has been located and is ready for the court's inspection, sir. Finally! A mysterious little box deposited by McGilded 2 months ago. Intense zoom in on face. It was then that he knew what he had to do. Not fuck up in this courtroom. There's no doubt in my mind that it's a key piece in this far-reaching puzzle. My mind is already in the Shadow Realm. To be continued.